Hi angels, welcome back to another video, and this is actually going to be a resin video. I know that I said I was going to be taking a break, but I just had to make this. So we're going to be making a resin corset. I think it's super cute. I saw this on TikTok actually, and I was like, oh my god, that's so easy to make. I can definitely make it. So the mannequin I got from Amazon. These two fabrics, they're from Amazon as well. And obviously we're going to need some resin. I have these 1 gallon resin because I used to make a ton of resin art, so I just had some resin laying around. So I mixed up my resin, and you can see that there's a ton of bubbles in there. It doesn't really matter. It's not like if I'm making any of my other resin pieces, so the bubbles doesn't make any difference. So with the mannequin, I wrap it up with some, I think it's called ceramic paper, plastic, whatever, so that the resin piece doesn't stick onto the mannequin, so it's easier to remove. So I'm cutting up both of the fabrics that I'm going to be using. So that's what I'm doing here. Everything that I'm going to be using in this video, I'll leave a link for it down in the description box down below, so that if you guys want to make this as well, you can make it. Also, you're going to need some gloves. I can only find like 1 pair of gloves, so I'm just using these blue gloves right here. You need your scissors, and that's pretty much it. Super easy to make. Cutting off all the extra fabric. I thought I would be dipping both of them in the resin, but I end up not doing that. I probably should have. Time can tell. So I cut way too much of this fabric, so I'm gonna have to cut it down a little bit. I'm just trying to figure out how it's gonna lay, how I want everything to look. But I just let it flow however it wanted to flow on the mannequin. So obviously I was doing something else, so the resin sat and the bubbles were kind of disappearing, but it doesn't really matter. Again, the bubbles are not that important. And I mixed up way too much resin. I'm gonna show you guys in the end what I did with the rest of the resin. So I'm dipping my fabric into the resin, rubbing it around to make sure that it's fully covered in the resin. And I didn't want it to be drenching in the resin, so that's why I kept on wringing it out so that it'd be less resin on top. So I'm just making sure that the resin is all over. And then I can start placing it on top of the mannequin and just letting it lay however it wants to lay. Make sure that it has that beautiful wavy pattern and that the sides of it is covered as well. You want to be making sure that this is going to be a corset, so you want to make sure that the sides are covered, the top is laying down flat, and everything looks good. So I'm just flipping around, folding it, giving it that wavy effect. And that's how it looks. It looks good so far. You could just leave it like that. But I have another fabric. I was going to dip the other fabric into the resin. I was like, I don't want to mess up what I just did already with the fabric. So I decided to just cut out these butterflies individually and then dip it into the resin and then place it on top of the mannequin and everything else. So this is it. I'm going to keep doing this over and over again. I don't need to be worried about the resin curing or anything because this is a slow paced resin, so it gives me a little bit more time. I'm cutting off the extra fabric from the butterfly. Putting back on my gloves. Now I'm going to be dipping the butterfly into the resin, squeezing it out because we don't need a lot of resin on top of it. And then just placing it wherever I think it would look best. Keep on redoing these steps over and over until I fill it up just the way I like it. Don't worry, I'll eventually move the camera because I don't know why I think this would be a good place to place it down the camera, but yep. And now we're just moving it around. Placing that on top. I'm just adding a little bit more resin on top of the butterflies. Placing down more butterflies to see how everything will be looking. It looks pretty cool so far. I like it. Now these final two butterflies, we're going to be doing the same thing. Put it into the resin and then just layering it down. Making sure it's sticking onto the fabric and it's not just laying on top of it. And that is pretty much it. Obviously, we still had a little bit more of some resin left over, and I don't want to waste no resin. So I got a holographic mold that I had laying around. I add some glitter onto the resin, and now, I'm getting my gloves because there's resin all over the bucket. Mixing up my resin and then just adding a little bit of the glitter resin on top of the corset. And it looks so pretty so far. So I'm going to let this resin dry for 24 hours. And then I'm going to show you guys how it looks in the end. I end up having to use another mold because this mold wasn't big enough. So using two molds. I don't know why I mix up so many resin. Like, why did I even think it would be taking so much resin? But you live and you learn. I'm just looking for another silicone mold. And I'm using these holographic molds. So anything that I pour in there will turn out holographic. So pretty. These are my Christmas decoration molds that I got from Etsy's. And everything is looking so perfect already. It looks good. Like I said before, we're gonna let everything sit and dry for a full 24 hours or overnight, whichever one. It says that the resin takes 8 hours for it to dry, but I'm just gonna let it sit for 24 hours. Okay, so I did this last night and it's in the morning. It looks pretty good. I still don't think it's ready. Maybe it is. I'm gonna let it sit and dry some more. I don't think it's ready yet. I let this sit for probably 24 hours. This is how it turned out. It turned out so gorgeous. It didn't stick onto the mannequin, so that was a plus. It looks amazing. I can't wait to try it on for you guys. But it looks good so far. I didn't show this process, but I punched some holes in the sides, which is very easy. It went through with my scissors. And then I just thread this ribbon in there. Obviously, it's not the right ribbon, but that's the only thing I could find that was just laying around. Where I'm putting my hand right there, that's where I would cut just to make it in half. I don't like the way how the bottom part is just bulky, it's just sticking out. That's not cute. I don't like that. So the only thing I would do is just cut it in half so that it could be shorter. And also on the sides, on one side you can see a little bit way too much of my side boob, so I would cover up the sides some more. I'm going to be remaking this in a jersey form, so we'll see how that turned out. But this is just how it looks. It looks pretty cool. Just imagine it if it was cut right there. That would be so gorgeous. The bottom part is just sticking off of my skin, off the fabric. It looks super weird. This is how it looks in the sun. It looks pretty cool. I love the butterfly. I love the glitter. I love everything about it. It's gorgeous. So yeah, that's it for this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.